Welcome back to BVarsity Live. Zach Ewing, Trevor Horn here to wrap things up on a championship week.
That stinks.
1 day away from section championships, and we just noticed we were both scanning our phones during the break. Former USC running back Joe McKnight shot to death in New Orleans today, so R.I.P. to Joe McKnight. Yeah, it's too bad when things like that happen, but that is the news of the hour. So anyway, high school wise, 3 big championship games for Kern County teams tomorrow night. There's also 3 other championship games in the Central section. Kern County happens to have teams in the top 3 divisions this year, 1, 2, and 3. 4, 5, and 6, no Kern County teams, but we picked them all anyway, so let's run through Division 6. Sierra Pacific of Hanford is in Strathmore to face the undefeated Spartans. Who you got, Trevor?
Well, I know that Sierra Pacific had a little bit tougher of a schedule, but I'm going with the team that hasn't lost this year, and that's Strathmore in a tight game, 28-21.
Sierra Pacific has played a lot tougher of a schedule, and I'm going with the Bears and that offense, 42-41. These teams did play earlier in the year, and of course Strathmore being undefeated won the game, but it was a close game. I expect a tight one again, and I'm going to go with Sierra Pacific to win this game in a little bit of an upset. Division 5, FIREBAUGH at Mendota. FIREBAUGH benefited a little bit from kind of a wild bottom half of the bracket. Yosemite, the 10 seed, got into the semifinals, but I do think they're the second best team in this bracket. However, Mendota, quite frankly, is just light years ahead of everybody else in Division 5. The Aztecs have won twice in D6 before. They're 0-2 in D5 finals. That changes tomorrow night. Mendota big.
Yep, 42-20, Mendota.
Okay, D4. That's not a final score. That was last week's Selma over Kennedy's score.
There's the one Trevor Horn mistake of the week.
We always have one. It's CHOWCHILLA and Selma have not played yet, and I would be surprised if Selma won that easily. But I do think this is a great D4 game, by the way. Great D4 game.
Well,
CHOWCHILLA, if you haven't looked it up, how they won last week, you got to look up that video. Yeah. They won on it wasn't a Statue of Liberty play. People were saying Statue of Liberty play. It wasn't that, or a hook and ladder. It wasn't even really that. It was
a lateral at the 3-yard line.
It was a desperation. I'm going to get tackled at the 3, pitch it backwards, and then that guy looks like he's going to get tackled at the 5 and somehow fights his way through 6 defenders and gets into the end zone. And there was 1 second left when that play started, and there's an argument from Golden West as to whether there should have even been 1 second left on the clock. Anyway, point is, CHOWCHILLA won a crazy game, and now they get undefeated Selma, who might be the best D4 team we've seen at least since the 2013 BCHS team that went to the state title game, maybe even better than that. Selma might be a legitimate top 10 team in the section overall, and I take Selma to win. Not 35-3, but I will take Selma to win.
49-28 Selma.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if the game's that high scoring as well, because
Bears.
Selma can play some.
So 2 Bears are going to win this year.
According to me.
Yeah.
I guess Sierra Pacific.
Yeah.
Tulare Western and BCHS. We had the Eagles in here. This one, to me, may be as good of a matchup as any of the 6 divisions. I don't think there's a clear favorite here. I know BCHS is the number 1 seed. They have not faced a defense as good as Tulare Western very often, and when they have, and I'm thinking of Tehachapi, that was a very close, nail-biting game.
I'm also thinking of Wasco before Wingle went on this incredible run.
And Wasco gave them a game, and honestly, I think Tulare Western's defense is better than Wasco's, and so the Eagles are going to get challenged here.
No, and I believe, and I wholeheartedly believe that, but I think that it's a team that, like I said, is kind of just playing fun this year, and they've been down. They get down. They were down 21-7 to Memorial in the semifinals, and they found a way to just fight back and went on a 35-0 run. So, I mean, just when you find a seam, you find a seam. When you find a crease and you get going, that's how it happens. Yeah,
BCHS obviously will rely on the big plays. If Tulare Western can limit the big plays, I think they can win this game. Got BCHS winning by a touchdown, 34-27, but to me, this is a toss-up game.
What'd you pick?
34-27.
What'd I pick?
35-28.
Get out of my head, Holmes.
I picked them first this week. Get out of my head. Okay, Division 2, the lowest seed of any team to make a championship game. Clearly, Ridgeview at number 6, but let's be honest, they weren't really ever a number 6 seed, were they? They had a bad regular season, so they got punished for that a little bit in seeding, and rightfully so. I'm not saying they were underseeded, but they, talent-wise, a much better team than that. Now that they've kind of got that want-to back, the discipline back, they're rolling. I mean, they smoked Redwood in the second half of the quarterfinal. They smoked El Diamante last week, which was the 7 seed that had just beaten Garcias, by the way, so they're 7 seed playing really well. Now this is a different sort of challenge, though, in Sanger. Sanger may be, and you heard Dennis Manning say it, the most complete team in the section. Their schedule hasn't been quite as good as Central or BHS, so I have them at number 3 in my overall section rankings. With a win here, they could go up to number 2, I think. This is a really good team.
No, it's a very good team, and it's a team that's predicated on the defense, and they're senior laden, and they've been to the semifinals last 2 years, right? Because I know they went last year. They go to the semifinals when they went 8-4.
I believe they made the fourth final, didn't they?
No, they played 12 games, so it had to have been semifinal.
Not.
But I mean, these guys have won a lot and they've lost a lot together, and now here they are in this moment. They haven't lost any this year, and Miguel Garcia might be as good of a linebacker as anybody in the Central section, and so I think that it's really going to come down to, can Ridgeview kind of contain the, hold on to the ball and find ways to, get a few big plays here or there, and if they can, maybe that is what kind of propels Ridgeview over Sanger. But I think that Ridgeview, when you look at 128-49 is their margin of victory, in the last 3 games. And I know it's those 3 teams, Independence, El Diamante, Redwood, are nowhere near Sanger, but that says something too.
Yeah, they are nowhere near Sanger. And I think talent-wise, you might be looking at a reasonably even matchup here. They both have some stars. Andrew Azua, the running back for the Apaches. So the difference could be who makes more mistakes.
Yeah.
And right now, I think if you look at it over 12 games, who's made more mistakes and had more kind of knucklehead moments? Well, by far, it's Ridgeview.
Yeah,
by
of course.
far. That doesn't mean that's how it's going to be tomorrow night, but my pick is Sanger by a couple of touchdowns. I just think they're too good that even 2-time defending champion Ridgeview isn't going to stop that Apache machine.
Yeah, you got a 31-22 Sanger.
What's I'm saying 2 touchdowns? That's 9 points.
I'm going to go with the upset, 28-21 Ridgeview.
Defend yourself.
I think that there's a sense of not losing their legacy, and you got a bunch of seniors like the 2 guys we had in here, like Jalen Prevost, Ricky Leung-Wai. You got a bunch of guys, Anthony Alcady, that just they don't want to be the team that lost it. And I think that they've been playing so well and they're so talented that that's what's going to kind of propel them over. And I think Sanger, and I don't think Chuck Sheeden is going to have a team that's going to overlook Ridgeview by any stretch of the imagination, but I just think the talent level is going to kind of come up, and they're going to play like a team that has nothing to lose.
Two Hall of Fame type coaches, Chuck Sheedan and Dennis Manning in that one. 2 very good teams, and should be a great atmosphere. Jealous of you for being at that one.
I'm jealous of you for being at this one.
I'm not going to complain about being at the Division I game. We will have the game, the BVarsity Live Game of the Week, an audio call for you on Bakersfield.com. Pre-game show 6:30 p.m. Kickoff at 7 p.m. If you're on the road, you can also get it 1180 KERN radio, 1180 a.m. And, of course, Bakersfield.com will have the audio feed. We'll also have some graphics and things up in the pregame show that'll spice that broadcast up a little bit. We're going to be live from Collegian Stadium in Fresno, west side of I-5 in Fresno, so kind of away from everything else. Going to be the biggest stage in Central Section football for 2016. The BHS Drillers, the Central Grizzlies. This is going to be fun.
I think you meant the west of the 99.
Is that what yeah, west of 99, not west of 5. Yeah,
west of the 5, that's almost Los Banos.
No. west of 99. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Boy, there's some athletes on the field.
Oh, my gosh. I couldn't imagine how much intensity there's going to be with this game, because both teams are running as well as anybody in the state, really, when you look at it, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Who's your pick?
BHS with the upset. I think the Drillers are the team. As great as Central was playing at the beginning of the season, I think BHS is playing equally, if not better now, and they've found so many different wrinkles. When you get Josh Moran back, we put Navante Demison on offense. I think that's what's going to happen, and I've got BHS winning this by a touchdown, 42-35.
Yeah, in fact, I'm with you to the point where I'm not even sure BHS winning would be an upset. And I know they're seated lower. I know their record's worse. I know they're on the road. But if you look at current form, how BHS has played the last 6 weeks or so, not that Central's dropped off. They've won every game against a really good schedule, but they've had to fight to beat Edison. They've had to fight to beat Clovis West. BHS is better than those teams right now, and so Central is going to have to up its game. That's not saying they can't do that, but if they don't do that, BHS will win this game by 10, 15 points because they're playing that well right now. The big plays just keep rolling. Central's very good. They could win this game under Kyle Biggs, but I've got the Drillers to win number 37 before Central gets its first.
If Central does, Kyle Biggs becomes the first player, head coach to ever beat BHS in a Central title game.
So that is the Division I championship game. It's our BVarsity Live game of the week. Catch it on Bakersfield.com. A 6:30 p.m. pregame show, a 7 p.m. kickoff for that one. You'll be at Division II, Ridgeview Sangerwolf, Steve Lynch at Bakersfield Christian and Tulare Western. We're getting set for Championship Friday, everybody. For producer Chris McCullough, that's Trevor Horn. I'm Zach Ewing. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Looking deep down the left side, Mendota into the end zone, touchdown!